Coming to you from deep inside the bowels of a great big empty. Get ready for another episode of The Home Defense Show with Skip Coryell.
Hello, American families.
Welcome to this week's episode of The Home Defense Show.
I'm your host, Skip Coryell, and if you love your family, care about them deeply, and want to learn how to protect them in every facet of your life, then you've come to the right place.
We have a great show for you today.
And I know you're going to love it.
Okay. All right, folks, if you haven't recognized those voices already, that was Phoenix Quinn Coryell and Amethyst Coryell, was it not? Say hello, Phoenix.
Hello.
Amethyst, say hello.
Hello.
Well, we are out here in our home studio, our home recording studio, and we're going to kick off this week's episode of the Home Defense Show, episode 79, and we're going to talk about what we've been doing. Let's start with ladies first. Amethyst, we just came home from staying at a hotel in a far-off city. Where did we go?
We went to a place where people teach you about God.
Yeah, that's what we did. Actually, we went to a homeschool conference in Lansing, Michigan at the state capitol. Phoenix, where did we stay? We stayed in a...
Hotel.
Yeah, you like hotels, don't you?
Yes.
Tell me why you like hotels.
Because there is a swimming pool and they have comfortable beds.
Oh, actually, the bed for me was terrible. It made my back sore, but I think that's because I'm old. I mean, kids your age can sleep on a granite slab and they wake up feeling refreshed. That just doesn't happen when you get older, but you'll look forward to that. Amethyst, what do you like about hotels?
I can't explain it because I don't know, but I like them, but I don't know what I like about them.
Okay. Well, Phoenix likes the swimming pools. Do you like the swimming pool?
Yes.
And Phoenix, you were going to add something.
Spider.
Oh, there's a spider on the wall. Okay, there's a spider on the wall. Should I shoot it with my gun?
Yeah.
No. No. Let's just whack it like that. Okay. Now the animal rights activists will be all over us for killing a spider. Anyways, we went to, it's called the INCH Conference, and INCH stands for Information Network for Christian Homes. And this particular convention, it happens every year in Lansing. Really, thousands of people go there from all over Michigan to learn how to educate their families, their children, better. And we had a just wonderful, wonderful time. Phoenix, why don't you tell the listeners what was your favorite time at the INCH conference?
Seeing the great big cow.
They had a great big cow. What are you talking about?
A person would dress up in a cow suit, and he would just go up on stage.
Oh, so it wasn't a real cow, because a real cow would poop all over inside, and that wouldn't be good. So you had a giant cow. In fact, wasn't that the name of the class that you went to, Giant Cow?
Yeah.
What did you like about Giant Cow, other than the actual giant cow?
I don't know.
Okay.
I liked seeing him.
Oh, you liked seeing the giant cow. Did they let you ride the giant cow?
No.
Oh, okay.
But the giant cow danced when we sang.
It was a dancing giant cow?
He danced a song with us. Just one song, though.
Oh, can you guys sing the song?
Nope.
I don't even remember it.
You don't even remember the song.
Nope.
Can you remember any of the songs that you sang?
Kind of. We sang God's Not Dead.
Oh, okay. Can you guys sing that song together?
No
No.
way, no way, no way.
Well, what song can you sing? Can you sing Jesus Loves Me?
Sure.
All right, ready? 1, 2, 3, go.
Jesus loves me, this I know, for the Bible tells me so. Little ones to him belong. They are weak, but he is strong. Yes, Jesus loves me. Yes, Jesus loves me. Yes, Jesus loves me. The Bible tells me so.
Oh, that was awesome. You guys are just incredible. You're like Donnie and Marie Osmond.
I don't know who that is.
Okay.
Me either.
All right. Well, Phoenix and Amethyst, I want to thank you very much for this week's introduction to the Home Defense Show. You've done almost the first entire segment by yourself, so thank you. I think now it's time for me to get down to business and talk about the news. So, once again, thank you, and we will have you on the show again. Phoenix, thanks for being on the Home Defense Show.
You're welcome.
Amethyst, thank you for being on the Home Defense Show.
You're welcome.
All right, kids, go talk to your mom.
Okay.
Dad's got to work.
Bye, Daddy.
All right, love you.
Love you too.
All right, folks, I know that was probably a little strange for you, but I did get comments. Whenever I have the kids on the show, I always get comments from people telling me how much they enjoy listening to my children. And Phoenix and Amethyst, they're 8 and 7 years old. They still have that innocence about them. And I love them so much. Quite frankly, Phoenix and Amethyst and my son Cedar and my wife Sarah, my whole family, that's the reason we go through all this home defense stuff in the first place, right? And to be quite honest with you folks, I was really feeling down today. I don't know. I'm supposed to get on the air every week and be all bubbly and happy and witty and at my best. And, is it just me, or maybe everyone has days where they're not their best? Have you ever been at your job and you weren't at your best, or you screwed up, or have you ever woken up in the morning and thought to yourself, gosh, I don't want to go to work today? Well, you know what? This is one of those days for me. It's so easy to get discouraged, but I think those days are probably more important than the good days. They're certainly tougher. When you wake up and you got all kinds of exciting things happening and planned, and you got a big day at work, those days are easy. But most days aren't like that. Let's face it, most days are a grind, aren't they? You get up and you have to force yourself to get dressed and go to work, and most of us don't have jobs that are like dream jobs, right? And I know a lot of you are thinking, Skip, what are you talking about? You're living the American dream. You've got, 2 radio shows, and you've got, all these books that you've published, and you can do whatever you want every day of your life. And, folks, that's just not true. No one's life is like that. Do I have what I've chosen? Yes. I have the life that I've chosen. And I do love it most days. But some days you just don't. But you got to keep on keeping on every single day. And, for me, it's my kids and my wife that keep me going. They remind me what's important in life. And I always, end the show every day talking about God, family, country. And on those tough days when you don't even want to get up in the morning, boy, you got to think about God, family, country, and remind yourself that Okay, here are the good things. And this is what life is really all about. It's what keeps me going. I'm reminded of the words of the Apostle Paul, who said, "Finally, brothers and sisters, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things, and the God of peace will be with you." That's in Philippians 4:8. Folks, sometimes you just have to think about good things. I mean, instead of doing the news in this first segment, I mean, we got school shootings all over the place, and or at least it seems that way. We've got volcanoes in Hawaii, we've got pandemics, we've got everything short of the zombie apocalypse going on out there. And, I just didn't want to dwell on that today. So today, I'm going to talk about other things. Today, I want to talk about families. What's important in families? I don't even have a guest lined up. I just want to talk about it, just one-on-one, you and me. So that's what we have lined up for today. When we come back, we are going to be speaking with none other than, well, me, Skip Coryell. And I'm going to talk to you about that, and I'll read you some things, and maybe you'll learn some things about family that you didn't understand before or didn't know. Okay, we got a 2-minute break here. While you're away, let's go ahead and check out our sponsors. Check out elitefirearms.us, and then check out firearmslegal.com/Midwest Tactical. And then, of course, go on Amazon.com and search on Skip Coryell and check out all of those books. And maybe you can help me win the Pulitzer Prize. I'm probably not going to win the Pulitzer Prize, but, at least make me an Amazon bestseller. Wouldn't that be great for me? Okay. All right, folks, this is Skip Coryell on the Home Defense Show. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back.
My name is CJ Coryell. Welcome to the Home Defense Show with my dad, Skip Coryell. Don't go nowhere. We'll be right back.
This is Skip Coryell from the Home Defense Show, and I want you to have the very best handgun that money can buy. And that's why we recommend you visit Larry Jackson at Elite Firearms and Training. As a concealed carry instructor, I see people every week out on the range with guns they can't shoot properly because they didn't know what to buy. That will never happen at Elite Firearms and Training. Larry Jackson will personally fit you with your very own personal defense pistol. So call Larry Jackson today at 616-299-8715 or visit elitefirearms.us.
This is Colonel Danny Gillum. I host Frontlines of Freedom, a weekly syndicated military talk radio show. One of my co-hosts is Skip Coryell, the host of this show. We cover things that impact military and veteran communities, and we do it from the veteran's perspective. The show is broadcast across the nation and is also available as a podcast on our website, frontlinesoffreedom.com. Please join Skip and me weekly on Frontlines of Freedom.
Okay, folks, welcome back to the Home Defense Show. This is your host, Skip Coryell. This segment, we are going to talk about men. Oh, men. Our wives tell us we're so screwed up, and they don't understand us, but I don't understand them either, so I guess that makes us even. But before we get into that, we got to do something here that I haven't done in a long, long time. Oh, folks, listen to this and tell me what I'm doing. Oh yeah, the aroma, the bouquet. Oh, ice cold Mountain Dew. All the chemicals, all the goodness of America packed into one 12-ounce can. I love it in the cans. But hey, don't tell my wife I'm drinking this, all right? Hey, I love it. And I'm also doing something else that I've never done before. I'm going to do it right now. On the air. I'm going to eat this right now. Oh, wow. Oh, that's good. It is homemade pork curry. I make my own curry. Been doing it for, oh geez, close to 40 years now. Every time I eat curry, I'm reminded of a male bonding story. Now, most of my listeners, let's face it, you're men, okay? I'm probably not very interesting to women at all. So I'm just going to speak to the men tonight. And if you women want to listen in and find out something about men, fine. If you don't, hey, go back to Pride and Prejudice. I'll get some emails about that remark. Anyways, it was back in college. This would have been, I don't know, a long, long time ago. And I was in the college dorm, and my roommate, Phil Walsh, he was a missionary from Bangladesh, and he's the one who taught me how to make Bengali curry. Oh, it is so awesome. It's so hot, it makes your face sweat, your tongue sweat, your eyeballs sweat. I played soccer with Phil for, a couple of years there in college, and, we're good friends to this very day, 40 years later. But it's the middle of the night, okay? And you know how it is in college. You're staying up late, you're studying, because I always waited till the night before a test to study. That's just the way that I was. I majored in English, and then I minored in soccer and foosball. Try and figure that one out. But we were hungry, and we didn't have a car or anything, and didn't have any money. And I said, well, why don't we make some curry? And so we're looking around for curry. We don't have anything. We had some rice, but, that was about it. But then I got this idea. You ever have that little devil pop up on your right shoulder and whisper a little idea into your head? I got this idea. You know what? We have all the meat that we need. There was a pond right behind the girls' dorm back then, still is, and there was a paddle boat. And I thought, you know what? That pond is loaded with ducks. I've never had duck curry. And so, we can't use a gun. It's midnight. That's probably going to wake people up. So, hey, I've got a bow and arrow. So Phil and I, we get the bow and arrow, and we sneak on out, across the campus, and we get up behind the girls' dorm, and there's these ducks on the pond, and we got in the paddle boat, and Phil drove, so he's an accomplice, a missionary kid accomplice, and we're driving out onto the pond, and we cut this one duck out of the herd, okay? And boy, they were just making a racket, and I'm saying, duck, be quiet, be quiet. And you ever try and get close enough to a duck to shoot it with a bow and arrow? It's tough. And so we're just paddling fast. I go, Phil, go faster, faster, faster. And finally, he gets up close enough to this duck, and I'm standing up on the bow of this paddle boat. So I let fly with the bow and arrow, and I hit this duck right in the butt. And if you've never shot a duck in the butt with a bow and arrow, then you just haven't lived. They make terrible racket. And so finally we chase the duck up on shore, and by now lights are coming on in the girls' dorm, because we're making a lot of noise, and the duck. And so we get out there, and I'm trying to wring this duck's neck, and it's not cooperating, and the head just keeps going around and around and around, and finally I cut the head off with the arrow, with the broadhead. And some of you even some of you men are probably thinking, Skip, that's terrible. That's cruel. And my response is, oh, shut up. It's a duck, okay? We eat ducks. Granted, could have given it a more humane death, but hey, I was young and dumb. And hey, young, dumb people do dumb things. So we gutted the duck out right there and skinned it and took it back to the dorm room. And oh man, Phil cooked that thing up. And that's the only time I've ever had duck curry. It was delicious. It was awesome. My face sweat. My tongue sweat. My eyeballs sweat. It was hot. And it was grand and glorious and good. And I will remember that day for the rest of my life, because that's the way men bond. We bond by chasing ducks across a pond at midnight with a bow and arrow and shooting it in the butt. Now, women, I know you don't understand that. I don't expect you to. It's okay. You're women, okay? You think like a woman. I think like a man. And you know what? I got a secret for you. Just because your husband pretends like he agrees with you on these whole feelings things, it doesn't mean he really does. He's faking it. Sorry, guys. The cat's out of the bag. Men are men. And it has become very unpopular for men to act like a man, to feel like a man, to talk like a man. And I think men just need to get back to being men and stop worrying about all this politically correct garbage. All these things that are, considered acceptable or unacceptable. Some of the things I do just drives my wife crazy. And I know if I was warm and sensitive and kind, I would go, oh, I'm sorry, honey, that bothers you. I won't spit anymore on the sidewalk. Or, I won't scratch myself. But you know what? There is only so far I'm willing to go. Honey, I love you, but if I want to scratch myself, I'm going to scratch myself. I would take a bullet for you. I will stand up for you. I will protect you. I will go to the ends of the earth with you. I'll even watch Pride and Prejudice with you. But there are just some things a man gotta do. And that's one of those things. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. Have you noticed that men and women are different? Boy, I sure have. 3 marriages, 2 divorces, 3 marriages. I can firmly attest to you that men and women are different. I don't care what the feminists say. I think half those feminists are crazy as loons anyways. They walk around trying to act like men, talk like men. Some of them, marry women. It's just crazy. But, I know who I am. And it's okay if you don't like me. Some days I don't even like myself. But that's okay. Men and women are different. I'll stand by that till the day that I die. I think some of the best male bonding I've ever done was decades ago. 18 years old. I'm in Marine Corps boot camp. They throw you together with like 85 other guys that you've never seen before. I'm from the country. I'm like Radar O'Reilly. And there's guys from the city. There's black guys. There's white guys. There's brown guys, yellow guys, red guys. It didn't matter. We were all olive drab. there wasn't a whole lot of racism in Marine Corps boot camp, because you either swum together or you sank together. But I tell you, all those guys that I was with, we pulled together. We came together, we pulled together. But, we graduated, became Marines together. We went through hell together for 13 weeks. But when I look back on that, most of those guys, I didn't have anything in common with them aside from we were all trying to become Marines. I mean, I can't relate to city guys. I mean, a lot of those guys were, they were non-Christians, they were immoral, they were raunchy, disgusting. But, I don't associate with those people now. But back then, I bonded with those guys. And I was prepared, spiritually, physically, emotionally, to die for those guys. If we would have went in battle, I'd have fought by those guys. I would have attacked the enemy. I would have taken a bullet for those guys. That's the way men bond. I don't know if women bond that way. I think women bond just by talking. Let's talk about our feelings. Well, us men, we don't do that. We stuff our feelings. We suck it up because, hey, that's what men do. Well, we're about out of time in this segment of the Home Defense Show. We've been discussing men and their lack of feelings. Actually, that's not true. Men have a lot of feelings. It's just most of them are anger. All right. Hey, we got a 2-minute break. When we come back, we're going to talk about women. Men, you stay tuned because I am going to unlock the secrets of the universe. I'm going to tell you about all things female. And by the time we're done, you will have a full, rational, complete understanding of the opposite sex. This is Skip Coryell on the Home Defense Show. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back.
This is Felix Coryell on the Home Defense Show. Always use guns safely and wisely. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Hey folks, I want to tell you about my book, Civilian Combat, the Concealed Carry Book. More and more people across the country are seeing the dangers in society and are deciding to carry concealed to protect themselves and their families. My new book lays it out step by step. It'll teach you how to protect and defend the ones you love. Get the benefit of 17 years of teaching experience and a lifetime of training for this important role in society and in your family. You can get Civilian Combat real easy. Just go to Amazon.com, search on Skip Coryell Civilian Combat, and it'll pop right up there. Don't put it off any longer. Get Civilian Combat, the Concealed Carry Book by yours truly.
Wouldn't it be wonderful if life was like the movies and the good guys always won? In today's world, if you're forced to use your firearm to protect yourself, you will need protection. Firearms Legal Protection is here for you. FLP provides you with seasoned, experienced attorneys that handle your criminal and civil matters as a result of you protecting yourself. FirearmsLegal.com provides its members with uncapped attorney's fees, bail bond protection, and coverage in all 50 states. We are not a reimbursement plan. You can access uncapped attorney's fees for as low as $10 a month. Firearms Legal members are provided with educational services, training videos, and access to our vast national attorney network. While you're protecting yourself, let Firearms Legal protect you.
Listen up, folks. This is important. There are plenty of legal protection services out there, but none will protect you as well as Firearms Legal Protection. This is the one I use and the only one I recommend. Visit firearmslegal.com/Midwest Tactical and protect your family now. Okay, folks, welcome back to the Home Defense Show. This is your host, Skip Coryell. Oh, we are talking about women here in segment 3. So if you're a woman, a female, you should leave the room right now because, boy, I'm going to say some things that just might be a little controversial. In fact, you might hate my guts. Don't get me wrong. I love women. You know, I've loved a lot of women. And I tell you, women are fantastic, but you're not like me. So this segment, it's for men and for men only. I promised you guys. Hold on, let's give the women 3 seconds to leave the room. 1 Chicago, 2 Chicago, 3 Chicago. All right, all the women are gone. So, men, we can say whatever we want to because the women aren't here. All right, I promised you at the end of segment 2 that I would unlock the secrets of the universe for you, that I would explain to you all things female. Unfortunately, I don't know squat about women. I tell you, women are the eternal enigma for me. I don't understand them. I don't know why they do the things that they do. They drive me crazy sometimes. They are just so different. But I'm going to do my due diligence here. I'm going to do my best. And together, we will delve deeply into the minds of women. And hopefully, we'll come out alive. Let's start from the bottom. I'm going to dictionary.com here. Woman. Noun. The plural is women. 1. The female human being as distinguished from a girl or a man. Okay, I got that. I can understand that. 2. An adult female person. That's easy. I got that. 3. A female attendant to a lady of rank. What does that mean? A female attendant to a lady of rank. Yes, here's my woman. Ah, Lady Sarah and her woman. Is that what they're talking about? Number 4, a wife. Oh boy, people will call that sexist, won't they? Here's my woman. I was at an open carry picnic one time, and I met this guy, and he was a fan. You know, he read all my books and all that, and you know when you meet a fan, you always have to act real nice, no matter what they're like, right? And so he walks up and he introduced himself, and he says, "Yeah, I'm so and so, and here's one of my bitches." And that kind of caught me off guard. And you know, he was married to her, and I don't know how many others, but you know, maybe one of those guys that give the rest of us a bad name. That just popped into my head. I'm sorry. Here, hold on. I'm going to slap myself. Oh, Skip, shut up. Man, that's going to leave a mark. All right. 5. The nature, characteristics, or feelings often attributed to women. Womanliness. 6. A sweetheart or paramour. Mistress. Okay. That's probably closer to what that guy was telling me. 7. A female employee or representative. A woman from the real estate agency called. Okay. Oh, okay. A woman can also be a verb. 10. To put into the company of a woman. I'm going to woman you. 11. To equip or staff with women. Well, you've heard the phrase, it's time to man up. Well, apparently there's a time to woman up, too. 12, obsolete. This one's obsolete. To cause, to act, or yield like a woman. I wonder why that one's obsolete now. 13, an adjective, of women. And 14, female. Okay. And then they've got some idioms, which I've never really understood anyways. But hey, those are the basics. And when I say basics, we're talking basic. Men, if you want to understand women, now I'm speaking in generic terms here, okay? Because there are some strange women, just like there are some strange men. And, I'm talking about the typical woman here. Not my first and second wife. Oh, I'm going to catch crap for that one. But that's okay. I'll man up. Women, they want to talk about feelings all the time. And they want to know what us men are thinking and feeling. But the problem with that is a lot of the times we're not thinking things they really want to hear. So it's like, gosh, do I tell her what I'm really thinking? There's an example. What is that? That one Geico commercial. Abraham Lincoln. He's there with Mary Todd. And, and she asks him, Abe, does this dress make me look fat? And Abe says, oh, I cannot tell a lie. Abe, you should have lied. Sometimes the truth does not behoove you. Sometimes you just need to shut up. But hey, women aren't the same anymore, just the same as men aren't the same anymore. I think at their core, biologically, at their essence, intrinsically, men and women are the same that they've always been. It's just that sociologically, culturally, we're not allowed to be who God made us to be. I believe in my heart of hearts that men were created to be the leaders of a family. That's why, men, you have this natural instinct to provide for your family, to go out there and conquer the world. And if someone tries to hurt your family, it's your natural born instinct to want to step in and take care of business, take names, kick ass, and take out the trash. Nobody messes with your family. And I know, women, are that way, especially if someone tries to hurt their children. But with men, it's even more so. People will argue that with me, but that's okay. Women, they are better at a lot of things that men are not good at. Like nurturing, the whole nurturing thing. Gosh. My wife, Sarah, God bless her, she's just awesome. And, if I could pick any woman in the world to be married to, it would be Sarah, which is very convenient for me because I married her. But she's just awesome. You take the same situation. The kids, it's like when they get done eating, there's a certain thing that they have to do. They've got to wash their hands. They got to wash their face. Before they go to bed, they have to take a shower. They got to brush their teeth. They got to floss. They got all of this stuff. It's like she's got a set procedure for everything. And if it's not done that way, then it's like the whole earth is going to explode, spontaneously combust. And I don't think men are like that. Men are like, they pick up the kid, they take a look. Hey, there's no leaks. Kid's not bleeding. It doesn't have leprosy. Okay, go to bed, sleep. You know, we're just different. We were made different. We've got different goals. My goal is to protect the family, security. Anybody comes in there, breaks in during the middle of the night, I shoot them. I call the police, have them come and take the body away. That's my job. My job, hey, I make enough money to pay the bills, and, I make the money, then I give it to my wife, and then she decides, what to do with it. Of course, I'll keep a little bit out for Mountain Dew and Mocha Frappuccino, but don't tell her I said that, okay? You've heard that phrase, happy wife, happy life. It is so true. It is so true. Men, one of the greatest gifts you can give to your wife is to act like a man. Just act like a man. The problem is you don't know how to do it anymore. And I think it's the same with women. They don't know how to be themselves anymore. It's like, that whole racial memory thing has gotten Alzheimer's. Women don't remember what they're supposed to be because they're raised to be something different than what they were created for. And it's the same with men. Women were created to be nurturers. This whole thing, this biblical view of men and women, the secular world, they get confused about that. When they hear that the Bible says the man is the head of the house, they get confused. What exactly does that mean? Men and women are equal, but they're not the same. They're equal, but they're not the same. Oh, boy, I think this is going to take longer than 12 minutes to unravel the secrets of the female universe. I thought I could do this, but I think we're going to need another segment to juxtapose men and women and figure everything out. All right, well, hey, go ahead and take a 2-minute break. While you're gone, check out our sponsors, EliteFirearms.us and FirearmsLegal.com/Midwest Tactical. I understand our sponsors. Women, I don't understand. But, hey, check it all out. When you come back, we are going to juxtapose men and women. And I'm going to tell you what I really think about all this men-women stuff. All right, this is Skip Coryell on the Home Defense Show. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back.
Welcome to my dad's Home Defense Radio show. You're gonna love it.
Hey folks, I want to tell you about my book, Civilian Combat, the Concealed Carry Book. More and more people across the country are seeing the dangers in society and are deciding to carry concealed to protect themselves and their families. My new book lays it out step by step. It'll teach you how to protect and defend the ones you love. Get the benefit of 17 years of teaching experience and a lifetime of training for this important role in society and in your family. You can get Civilian Combat real easy. Just go to Amazon.com, search on Skip Coryell Civilian Combat, and it'll pop right up there. Don't put it off any longer. Get Civilian Combat, the Concealed Carry Book by yours truly, Skip Coryell.
This is Colonel Danny Gillum. I host Frontlines of Freedom, a weekly syndicated military talk radio show. One of my co-hosts is Skip Coryell, the host of this show. We cover things that impact military and veteran communities, and we do it from the veteran's perspective. The show is broadcast across the nation and is also available as a podcast on our website, frontlinesoffreedom.com. Please join Skip and me weekly on Frontlines of Freedom.
This is Skip Coryell from the Home Defense Show, and I want you to have the very best handgun that money can buy. And that's why we recommend you visit Larry Jackson at Elite Firearms and Training. As a concealed carry instructor, I see people every week out on the range with guns they can't shoot properly because they didn't know what to buy. That will never happen at Elite Firearms and Training. Larry Jackson will personally fit you with your very own personal defense pistol. So call Larry Jackson today at 616-299-8715 or visit elitefirearms.us.
Skip, it's time for the Armed America Report. What do you have this week?
All of us here at Frontlines of Freedom want our listeners to get trained and get armed in that order. We fully support the right to keep and bear arms for all law-abiding families, and we encourage you to find out about the laws governing use of deadly force in your state and follow them to the letter. And of course, don't forget to follow the rules of safety and common sense whenever you're carrying a firearm to protect the ones you love. What's the story this week, Colonel?
Well, Swansboro, North Carolina lost a little of his small-town charm one day in February when a law enforcement officer and someone he had pulled over for a traffic violation got into a tussle. Fortunately for Officer Aaron Thompson, an armed citizen who was not too far behind prevented the situation from escalating. Thompson had been on patrol when he had noticed a box truck being driven erratically. The vehicle pulled over when Thompson flashed his lights and siren, but when the officer exited his car, the truck driver took off. Thompson caught up and the vehicle stopped again. This time the police officer ordered the driver out of the truck and took him to the side of the road where the culprit started fighting or pulling away from the officer, according to Swansboro Police Chief Ken Jackson. A passing armed citizen saw the two men wrestling in the roadside ditch. He stopped his car, grabbed his Smith & Wesson handgun, and yelled at the ex-scoundrel to stop resisting. Upon noticing the gun, the suspect complied.
Funny how that happens, isn't it, Colonel?
Yeah, I think I might relate to that.
Well, Colonel, as more and more Americans are deciding to get armed and trained in the art of concealed carry, this scenario is playing out all across the country. 30 years ago, law enforcement was told that if regular citizens were to carry guns, that it would make the job of police officers more dangerous. Over the decades, incidents like this have proven the opposite to be true. An armed and licensed concealed carry holder is much more likely to render aid to an officer than to harm him. However, if you're going to stop and help a law enforcement officer either to save him or to assist in subduing a violent suspect, here are some guidelines to follow. 1. Unless you are physically strong and trained in close quarters combat, avoid getting close to the violent criminal. He has already overpowered a trained police officer, so he can probably handle you as well. 2. When you draw your firearm, be sure to check out all the angles. If you miss your shot, where will the bullet go? Be careful not to hit innocent bystanders, cars, or the police officer you're trying to help. 3. Once you decide to shoot, don't hold back. Don't shoot to wound. Fire as many shots as needed to stop the threat against the officer. And 4. When other police arrive, they may not perceive you as a good guy. As soon as you and the officers are safe, holster and conceal your pistol. If responding officers see you pointing a gun in the direction of their comrade, you may be shot and killed. More importantly, obey the commands of all police officers. This armed citizen from North Carolina did a great job, and the police officer is still alive and out on the streets fighting crime as proof.
Somehow, Skip, that doesn't seem to be covered by the mainstream media.
No, it doesn't, and it won't.
I think you're right.
Okay, folks, welcome back to the Home Defense Show. This is your host, Skip Coryell. Well, this has been fun, delving into all the mysteries of the universe, the teleological splendors, the paradoxes, all the wonderful mysteries that are male and female. But now, as if I haven't caused enough damage, this is the part in the show where I tell you what I really think. Sometimes I wonder what God was thinking when he created men and women. I understand what he was doing when he created man, and what he did with women makes sense too. But putting the two of us together? Well, not so much. It kind of reminds me of a divine, "Hey Bubba, watch this" scenario. So God was up there in heaven, and he was really bored. So he started creating things. First he made the whole world. Then he filled it with birds and fish and mammals and all sorts of cool things. And the whole time he's making this stuff, Jesus is sitting next to him saying, "Wow, Dad, that was really cool. You are really good at this whole world-building thing." And then God said to him, "You ain't seen nothing yet, son." And he picked up a handful of dust and made the very first man. And Jesus thought that was pretty neat. But then the man got lonely, so God put him to sleep and took out one of his ribs and made a woman to keep the man company. And everything was fine for a while, but eventually Jesus went to God and said, "Hey, Dad, I've noticed a few things about your last creation that don't seem to be working real smoothly." And God said, "Like what?" Jesus didn't know exactly how to break it to the Almighty, so he just spit it out. "Dad, don't take this personal, but I think you might have made a mistake when you created the woman and then joined her to the man." God raised his left eyebrow up and his smile disappeared. "Please explain, son." "Well, Dad, haven't you noticed that the two of them are fighting all the time? That they think different from each other? It's almost like they're total opposites." God laughed at his son's remark. "I did that on purpose, Jesus." "Really? Why?" But God didn't answer his son. He just said, "Wait a few thousand years. Then maybe I'll send you down to earth and you'll figure it out for yourself." Now, you won't find this exact version of the creation story in the Bible because I just made it up. But if my version were true, then I'm a little like Jesus Christ in that I often wonder why God would create two opposite genders and then give us an insatiable desire for each other, give us wills of our own, independence, and different points of view, and still insist that we both get along and love each other. Now, I'm just a simple man, but that seems about as cruel as shooting a duck in the butt with a bow and arrow. Why would God do such a thing? You've heard the old saying, "Opposites attract, but they seldom make good mates." That is so true. I'm fascinated by women, but they aren't a whole lot like me. On the one hand, I like that. Think about it, men. Would you really want to marry a woman just like you? I know I wouldn't. I don't understand women, but I like them. I love them. Those creatures both fascinate and flummox me. I like studying them both up close and from a distance. Sarah sometimes tells me, "I wouldn't want to be married to a man that I couldn't figure out in a day." And she doesn't have me figured out any more than I've deciphered her. I like that we're different. She is strong where I'm weak, and my strengths make up for her shortcomings. When the two of us come together, our differences make us stronger. I don't have to understand her to accept her, and I certainly shouldn't try to make her more like me. Sarah is everything God intended for her to be. She's all woman. And God created me to be a man, not some metrosexual thing that is afraid of being scolded for being masculine. Society would have us believe that only weak women opt out of the workforce, and that only strong women can survive as lawyers or doctors or factory workers. Ever since the sexual revolution in the 60s, our culture has told us that if a woman decides to stay home and raise her kids, then she doesn't really have a job. She is weak and lazy and hasn't reached her full potential. Folks, I can tell you that isn't true. I've watched my wife stay home and raise our kids. It's a full-time job. I watch as she gets up at 5:30 a.m. to have some quiet time for herself, to read, and then to exercise herself, and then fix breakfast for the kids before they wake up. And then she homeschools them for 6 hours while I'm trying to earn money to take care of the family bills. Every night she goes to bed exhausted. I remember an old saying my parents recited from my childhood. A man's work is from sun to sun, but a woman's work is never done. I didn't understand that saying until Sarah and I got married, and I saw that adage personified in her life. And don't get the idea that my wife is a stay-at-home mom simply because she couldn't make it in the quote-unquote real world, because that just isn't true. My wife worked in the corporate world for 10 years as an electrical engineer, and she did quite well. But she told me she didn't feel fulfilled, that she didn't like being away from the kids all day long at work, then coming home at night exhausted, just in time to tuck them into bed. She felt like she was missing something. And here's the reality of it, folks. I was a terrible stay-at-home dad. I liked being with my kids, but I always felt like I wasn't doing any work. I tried to run 2 businesses while raising the kids, but it was almost like I wasn't equipped for the task. I always felt like I was supposed to be making money, conquering the world, like I was missing out on my original calling. Finally, my wife and I got onto the same page and figured it out. She wanted to stay home, and I wanted to work outside the home. That has been the norm for thousands of years, up until a few decades ago. Now, all of a sudden, our culture has decided that what used to be normal is now a bad thing, that it's repressive to women and holds them back from their true and full potential. I don't think so. But you know what? This is America, so we have a choice. If women want to work outside the home, then go for it. God bless and more power to you. All women are free to make that choice. But here's what I don't like. Society, on the whole, ridicules and spurns women who decide of their own free will to become traditional housewives. They are mocked and scorned by society, and I don't think that's right. I believe that the family is the building block of any society. I believe that the family is stronger when women stay home and when men go out and conquer the world. There's nothing sexist about acknowledging reality. Women, at their core, are better at raising children than men. Men, intrinsically, are better at going out into the cruel world and conquering for their family. Women nurture, and men conquer. Are there exceptions to that? Sure. There will always be exceptions, but America is big enough to handle exceptions. In the end, let's just live and let live. I won't judge you for living different than Sarah and I, but neither should you judge us for the life we've chosen for our family. The world is a really big place, and I think there's room for the two of us. So, getting back to the original question that Jesus posed to God. Dad, don't take this personal, but I think you might have made a mistake when you created the woman and then joined her to the man. In the final analysis, I think God knew exactly what he was doing. A man and a woman having children, working together, overcoming their differences, compromising and accepting each other as unique creations of God, in the end, makes them exponentially stronger than they ever could have been separately. And that's what I really think. Well, folks, let's see if I get any email about that. Let's face it, no matter, what side of the coin you end up on with that, it's really a fascinating issue. Women are fascinating to me, and I can tell you, no matter what your wife says, you are fascinating to her too. You may infuriate her, but you're still fascinating. Men, be men. Women, be women. Just relax. Accept each other for who you were created to be. Well, folks, we are about out of time in this week's episode of the Home Defense Show. Next week, we'll have all kinds of good stuff. I don't know what I'm going to do next week. We'll have somebody good on, something interesting. Get back to something core. Maybe something with guns. Yeah, something with guns, high explosives, something fun. During the next week, go ahead and check out our sponsors, EliteFirearms.us. Call up Larry Jackson and see what he can do to help your family. Both the man and the woman get the proper firearm for home defense. And then go to firearmslegal.com/MidwestTactical and find out how firearms legal protection can protect your whole family against the criminal justice system. And of course, go to Amazon.com and pick up a copy of Civilian Combat, the Concealed Carry Book by yours truly, Skip Coryell. Okay, folks, that about wraps it up for this week's episode of the Home Defense Show. Until next week, remember your purpose in life is to find something greater than yourself and serve it. Always remember, God, family, country, in that order. It's important how you live, but it's equally important how you die. Your family and the ones you love need your protection, so train, always train, stay alert, stay alive. Until next week on the Home Defense Show, this is your host, Skip Coryell. God bless you, God bless your family, and God bless America.
Thank you for joining us this week on the Home Defense Show. Now, get out there and protect the ones you love. We'll see you next week with more of the best in home defense.
Bye-bye, boys! Have fun storming the castle!